2 sweeps in the books for these 2024 playoffs. Only a couple times will you see it happen each postseason. Teams with title aspirations only to get absolutely bounced. A few of the teams I'm about to mention were truly supposed to compete for a title, only to get a taste of failure, not deserving of Cancun. Absolute travesties ending their seasons, leaving their trash performance behind. Gotta get them brooms out. The most shocking first round sweeps in NBA history. Not mentioning any teams before 1984, the year the first round became a best of 5 series, a good enough sample size. Initially from 1975 to 83, it was a best of 3 for the 4th and 5th seeds, while the top teams received a bye. I'm not including this year's New Orleans Pelicans, although many thought this series would be competitive. Not having Zion absolutely killed them. OKC finally proving why they were deserving of the 1 seed. Let's start off with who else but Kevin Durant's Brooklyn Nets 2022, an absolute travesty, being an all-time great, getting swept multiple times in the first round when his team was supposed to be in title conversations, put in bad situations, constantly changing team locations, a mix of bad player combination, a clown circus of multiple franchise operations, the best players of his generation, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, and Kawhi Leonard, never been swept in round 1. 21 predictions from ESPN had 11 picking the Celtics, 10 picking Brooklyn. His team was supposed to be preseason title favorites with Harden and Kyrie. Before politics, injuries, James demanding out. The entire regular season was a hostile environment, treating for the useless Ben Simmons, who many expected to play at some point in the series, only to fool everybody dressing up as a clown on the bench. Irving finally cleared to play home games 3 weeks right before the start of the playoffs. Him and KD only 17 total contests all season, anticipated to be one of the greatest first round matchups, led to a competitive sweep nonetheless. Brooklyn needing to win the play-in to clinch the 7th spot, Boston 2 seed. Being 19 and 21 halfway through the season before turning things around with their defense, Game 1 decided the fate of the series. Kyrie balled out of his mind, 39 points and a clutch bomb. Durant struggled for 23 points, 24 shots, missed the 3, only for Jason Tatum to finish the deal as time ran out off a nice Marcus Smart pass. Deflating Brooklyn's confidence, the atrocious Durant got locked up, overwhelmed by the physical Al Horford, the Double J's, and Defensive Player of the Year Marcus Smart. With Grant Williams, 4 of 17 shooting Game 2, 6 turnovers, him and Kyrie combined, 1 of 9 fourth quarter. For many considering him the game's best player after the Milwaukee series the season before, his fragile body dealt with physicality, absolutely took a toll on his performance. Tatum absolutely destroyed and outplayed him, dropped 39 in Game 3, more points than KD and Kyrie combined. Andre playoff curse Drummond taking out the series. Steve Nash elected to play Patty Mills, Steph Curry, and Kyrie at the same time, all massively undersized and defensive liabilities. 453 minutes combined for players listed 6'3" and smaller. Boston only gave 46 minutes to a player that size, only Peyton Pritchard. Nash put in Blake Griffin on his last legs, the final desperation move. Durant's 39 the last game, meaningless, failed to play well earlier. This series reminded everyone of KD's vulnerabilities back to his time with OKC when grit and grind Memphis Tony Allen gave him trouble. In many of those games, the ghost of Mr. Allen still roars the hall of TD Garden. Despite having a career high in regular season assists, KD's court vision when hounded with double teams absolutely nowhere close to the LeBrons and Larry Birds of the world, resulting to over 5 turnovers a game. Brooklyn desperately needed Ben Simmons for size, defense, and playmaking. Even if he was 50% of his former self, would have made it a more competitive series. Durant simply had it easy in Golden State with Steph and Clay. The defensive strategy of the Celtics, led by head coach Ime Udoka, deserves tons of praise. Everybody capable of guarding every position. Those Boston Celtics most responsible for ending KD and Kyrie's disastrous time in Brooklyn. 1994, Indiana over Orlando. Before the Magic got to the finals, many forgot second-year Shaq and rookie Penny bounced out the first round, a best-of-5 series, despite prime Shaq taking revenge on the Pacers, Reggie Miller, Rick Smith, and Dale Davis. At least Reggie can say he outplayed Shaq. their first ever series facing off. The 28-year-old averaged 29 points, 22-year-old Shaq limited to under 21, Orlando 50 wins under Brian Hill, Indy 47 with Larry Brown, 4 vs 5 matchup. Indy considered a cursed franchise after the ABA merger, 4-17 in NBA playoff games entering Game 1. Team finished the regular season on an 8-game win streak. After starting the year 16-23 versus youth with 2 merging young superstars, Indy came back down 17 Game 1. Miller's clutch 3 tied things up at 86, Shaq with a tip-in, followed by the veteran Brian Scott ready to shoot, drained the game-winning 3. Not so magic last possession, Orlando's Brick Anderson for the win, nothing but backboard. Reggie's Pacers also stole Game 2, a game-high 32. Shaq hampered by foul trouble, 15 points on 8 shots. Penny missed a tough game-tying leaner at the buzzer. Pacers back-to-back 1-possession wins on the road led to a 13-point Game 3 victory. Reggie scored 31, gave us a preview of an incredible conference finals run with many classic moments against the rival Knicks. Orlando blew an 18-point lead with over 9 minutes left before Shaq went to the bench with 5 fouls, leading to a 13-0 Pacers run. Many picked the more talented Magic to win the series or at least have it go the distance. Nonetheless, Shaq with a very unpleasant first ever playoff series. 2001, Charlotte over Miami. Once upon a time, the Hornets franchise actually advanced to the second round. A 3 vs 6 matchup, all 3 wins by double figures, a brutal spanking for the ages, the worst beatdown Pat Riley ever experienced. Jamal Mashburn and PJ Brown acquired from the Heat alongside second-year sensation Baron Davis led Charlotte to outscore Miami by 67. Before the arrival of D. Wade, Riley's tenure in South Beach considered a failure. His 4 first-round exits in 6 years, Pat's playoff record with the franchise fell to 18-25 at the time, being humiliated this poorly while being the favorites to win this series, one of the ugliest lopsided performances the league will ever see, leading to 2 straight miserable seasons before the arrival of the historic 03 draft. 2015, 5th-seeded Washington Wizards sweeping the 4th-seed Raptors, a series that was supposed to be super competitive. ESPN panel had Raptors in 7, beat the Wizards all 3 times in the regular season, having home court advantage. Kyle Lowry made his first All-Star appearance, while Washington added veteran Paul Pierce, the perfect vet and leader for a young John Wall and Bradley Beal, becoming the first team to sweep in the first round of a 7-game series without having home court advantage. Lowry, known for his Game 1 travesties, just 7 points, 2 of 10 shooting, while the 37-year-old Paul Pierce had a 20-piece. Beal and Wall easily outplaying DeMar and Kyle. Game 3, the most competitive, Wizards still won by 7. Proceeded to finish with a 31-point closeout, completing the sweep, the Wizards winning by an average of 14 points before LeBronto took place. To many cases, this series for the Raptors franchise felt worse than getting swept by LeBron. Young early playoff Lowry got abused by a healthy prime John Wall, stat-net offense by Dwayne Casey, outcoached by the better Randy Whitman, having Pierce play the 4, cooking Amir Johnson, Patrick Patterson, and Tyler Hampsborough all series. Many Raptors fans shocked Casey wasn't fired after this sweep, had to wait 3 years before LeBron ran over this same squad. 2018, New Orleans over Portland. The Drew Holiday putting Dame Lillard in prison special. All 22 ESPN writers picked the Blazers to win the series. Both teams only separated by 1 game, a 3 vs 6 matchup. The duo of Dame and CJ were supposed to break it up after this humiliating sweep, becoming the first top 3 seed or higher swept in the best of 7 first-round matchup. An absolute travesty. Dame Lillard got absolutely locked up, arrested, harassed, mauled, and manhandled by Holiday and Rondo. Drew arguably played his best ever basketball with the lethal sharpshooting of Nikola Mirotic, 46% from 3, a motivated Rondo dropping dimes to AD, who was in his athletic prime, manhandled the helpless Jusuf Nurkic, averaged 33 and 12 for the series, and Alvin Gentry masterclass, blitzing Lillard with multiple guys wearing him out. Davis closed out with a ridiculous 47-point Game 4, Holiday poured in 41, Rondo 16 dimes for an ungettable 73-point second half. Of course, New Orleans fell to Golden State in 5 following round, but ironically, these same Blazers made the conference finals the season after, while Cousins and Rondo left New Orleans about 1/3 into next season. AD quit on the team, demanded a trade to the Lakers. That's all, folks. 2007, the young Chicago Bulls over the defending champions Miami Heat. One of the more shocking results, the 49-win squad led by Luol Deng, Ben Gordon, Kurt Heinrich, and new addition Ben Wallace knocked off Wade and Shaq. To be fair, Miami struggled throughout the regular season, 44 wins. Many thought they were going to turn it up come playoff time, being old, slow, fat, and sloppy, with a banged up Wade returning early after brutally dislocating his shoulder February, opted to rehab instead of getting season-ending surgery, made it back just a week before the end of the regular season. Having basically the same team, everybody was exhausted by the 06 finals, leading to Wade having one of the greatest single carry jobs. The young Bulls also gave the Heat trouble the first round of the previous season, going to 6 games. Luol Deng and Ben Gordon averaged over 26 and 25 points respectively. From rooting Miami's ring ceremony opening night with a 42-point massacre blowout, forever known as the Alonzo Mourning meme expression game, Chicago finally won a playoff series for the first time since the Jordan era, the Heat becoming the first defending champs to be swept round 1 since the 1957 Philly Warriors. So much for a series. Many expected the Bulls to get swept, only to do the sweeping the other way around. Golden State Warriors over the early days of Malone and Stockton's 1989 Utah Jazz, one of the most underrated forgotten first round upsets to this day, Dubs led by sensational duo of Chris Mullin and rookie Mitt Richmond in a 2-7 matchup, combined 71 points game 1, a 123-119 win, uncomfortable territory for the defensive-minded Jazz. Utah actually had 3 All-Stars, including 7'4" giant Mark Eaton. The backlash for this series would have been insurmountable in the social media era. Many would have begged the franchise to request a trade, breaking up the duo of Malone and Stockton, but both did their part, put up monster numbers for the series. But Golden State's hot shooting negated a lot of Eaton's defensive abilities. Only 6 players in the series averaged over 1 point, resulting in super heavy minutes for the starters, expected to make a deep run after taking the Showtime Lakers to a very competitive 7-game series the year before. Offensive genius head coach Don Nelson ran out a small ball lineup, 3 guards, 2 forwards. Winston Garland ran the point, the father of Darius Garland. If they needed size, had 7'7" Manute Bol off the bench, who averaged 6 blocks for the series in under 21 minutes a game. A super brilliant Nelly masterclass, also responsible for pulling other major first round upsets like 2007 We Believe Warriors over Dallas, arguably the greatest round 1 upset all time. This was one of those series Golden State got hot at the right time, one of the upset for the ages, with Utah being a -1000 to win this series, one of the most devastating losses for the Jazz franchise. With hopes of competing with Showtime, Golden State eventually got clobbered by Phoenix the following series. 2024, Minnesota over Phoenix, the biggest absolute failure of the biggest big 3 of them all. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal having no team chemistry, no identity. KD's tenure after Golden State has been an absolute travesty amongst all travesties. He still averaged 27 points a game, shoots very efficiently. So what? There's never been an all-time great talent who's had a stranger NBA career. Most had Minnesota winning this series, but some being undecided due to Phoenix winning all 3 regular season contests easily, but time only proven itself again. Durant trying to create a new big 3, getting another scorer to pair up with Book and KD, all 3 of them making around 50 mil a year, absolutely weakened the depth of the team, having no bench, picking up random guys to sign for the minimum, not having a true point guard. The whole team struggled badly to bring the ball up the court against the lanky, elite defensive-minded Wolves, led by superstar Anthony Edwards, future 4-time Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert, and one of the best perimeter defenders in Jaden McDaniel, with a grown-up, mature Karl Anthony Towns playing his role. The Wolves actually had a true point guard in Mike Conley, controlling the tempo. With the solid MacLeod, Alexander Walker, and Nas Reed off the bench, nearly 7 Minnesota players averaged double figures. As for Phoenix, no one put up more than 8 points a game outside of the Week 3, downgrading the center spot from Ayton to the atrocious 3-17 playoff record Jusuf Nurkic. Phoenix losing sharpshooter Grayson Allen, who's arguably been the team's 4th best player all season and one of the best 3-point shooters after 1.5 games. An irreplaceable piece, absolutely devastated the depth of the team. Ant-Man went on to prove who was the best shooting guard in the league, cooked his idol KD on multiple occasions, talked a lot of smack, and Durant did absolutely nothing about it. Just like how Boston and Jason Tatum swept Durant 2 years back, both Boston and Minnesota developed the foundation with their young players. 7 to 8 guys had an important role. While Bradley Beal saying he ain't been swept a day in his life, Mr. Overrated, absolute, disgusting, overpaid disgrace of a travesty, making more than many top 10 players, and Beal ain't even top 75 right now. Made no difference of an upgrade from Landry Shamet. Minnesota of course dominated the glass, nearly doubled the offensive rebounds, a 185 to 130 margin on the boards. First 3 games, massive blowouts. KD looked like he was just trying to get some cardio out there with a pickup game mentality. Appears to be slowly declining. Franchise trading CP3 for Beal, one of the worst mistakes the team can ever make. While Booker having another star taking turns abusing him, this team had the 3rd highest preseason title odds, played like they were still in preseason mode. With no first round picks till 2031, Ant-Man truly showed the world flashes of a young Jordan, ended the series on a ferocious slam.
10 to shoot. Edwards. Oh, Edwards! A signature slam!
From JT to AE, absolutely double travesties given to KD, appearing on this list twice. Honorable mentions includes Boston sweeping New York 2011, defending Eastern Conference champs, coming off a Game 7 short of winning the title, favorites against Amari and Melo's Knicks. Many picked Boston this series, but the offensive star power for New York was expected to make it competitive. Absolutely not. 2012, OKC over defending champion Mavs. Thunder easily the better team, but no one thought the defending champs would get bounced that easily. 2020 bubble, Miami beating the bricks out of 4-seed Indiana. So much for the so-called Jimmy Butler TJ Warren fake rivalry. Which team on this list suffered the most devastating first round exit? Your thoughts on the comments below. More NBA historical content coming soon. Subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see y'all next time.